Our session this afternoon is called Supporting Your English Learner Together. And this is a session specifically for families with kindergarten, first and second grade students. We have another session next Wednesday for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade students, and the following Wednesday for our 7th through 12th grade students. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Beverly Weber. I work in the English Learner Services Department for Twin Rivers School District, and my colleague will introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yareli Ramirez Paredes, and I am the student learning coach, and I also work with elementary teachers.
Thank you again for joining us. I'm glad that we have all survived windy, crazy weather the past day. So thank you for being here. Supporting English learners in Twin Rivers is our exciting work and our passion. We turn to the California English Learner Roadmap Policy, a set of guidelines and requirements for English learner instruction as set forth by the California Department of Education. This roadmap says, and I'm going to read this quote, "We need to not only cultivate English learners' language skills, but also ensure they meet the high academic expectations." In other words, we, meaning families, children, our students, of course, and teachers and staff. So we work together as a team to not only cultivate or develop and grow our students' language skills, but we're also working to ensure they meet those high academic expectations. Ensure, of course, means that we're working together. So we are cultivating our students' skills, ensuring that high academic expectations are met. And I'm not sure why I see lines on my screen. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead, though, and continue with this. Our English learners are amazing. And in Twin Rivers, we celebrate multilingualism. There are so many advantages to knowing multiple languages. Appreciating, oh, I'm sorry, I just realized one of the problems I have. Appreciating other cultures and perspectives, being open to ideas and approaches, and feeling comfortable traveling the world are just a few of the benefits. Additionally, there are cognitive benefits that help our brain develop and function. For example, people who are multilingual have a better ability to do many things at once and to organize their thinking, as they're used to moving from one language to another. Employment opportunities also exist for people who speak more than one language, not just in the United States, but internationally as well. So in order to grow these language skills and achieve multilingualism, we need to assess our students' language. Across this state, we use the ELPAC. That stands for English Language Proficiency Assessments for California. The first important thing to know is that the Lpac is made up of two separate tests, the initial Lpac and the summative Lpac. Each assessment has a different purpose. You may be wondering why students need to take the Lpac, other than the fact that it is a legal requirement. The results of the initial Lpac are used to determine if your child needs support in English. The summative Lpac is the test which helps teachers gain a better understanding of what type and how much support students need so they can learn in English and be successful in school. Additionally, it is this annual measure that tells us how much progress students are making in learning English and whether or not they are eligible for reclassification to become fluent. So far, we have talked about why Lpac is given and to which students. But let's think about this. What is the Lpac? The Lpac is the test that is used to measure how well California students understand English. This test will give you and your child's teacher information about your child's progress in learning English and how to best support your child at home and at school towards English language proficiency. When your child takes the Lpac, they will be tested in 4 different areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Students take the initial Lpac only once in their school career. The summative Lpac is given to students who have been identified as English learners. They will take this test each spring to measure their progress in learning English until they are reclassified as English proficient. How is the Lpac given to students? The Lpac is transitioning from a paper and pencil test to a computer-based test. The assessment is given by a trained test examiner. For our youngest students in kindergarten through 2nd grade, the test is given individually. Your child took the initial Lpac when they first began their education in California schools. We continue to give initial Lpac assessments to students whose family indicates they speak a language other than English at home. The process goes: families are notified, students come on campus one at a time, all health and safety protocols are followed. The initial Lpac is administered and scores are mailed to the homes. At this time of distance learning, the summative Lpac is given in person for children in grades kindergarten to 2nd grade. In-person testing uses these health and safety guidelines. Social distancing guidelines are followed. Safety protocols include site health check-ins, wearing a mask and face shield, having a plexiglass shield protection between the child and the test examiner. Kindergarten through 2nd grade families may choose to opt out of testing they may choose remote testing by opting out of in-person testing. If your child is testing at home, you'll want to follow these guidelines. You may assist the child with technology when starting the test. Do not talk about the test material with anyone before, during, or after. No one can record or take pictures of the test. It must be confidential. Child will be monitored through a webcam and microphone to ensure the child completes that test independently. The session is not recorded. The camera is only on to observe surroundings. Follow all instructions given by the test examiner. Tips for testing at home. You'll want to have your child in a quiet space. In this example, you'll see Allison sitting on a couch. She's got, it looks to be a quiet space. The wall behind her is helpful because the tester will be, or test examiner will be watching her. She's got her headphones on, her laptop is facing her, she's got that web camera and her microphone on. The test examiner will be able to hear her and speak. All right. So once the summative test Lpac has been given, students will receive scores in the late summer or fall. There will be scores for oral language, that's speaking and listening, and for written language, that's reading and writing, as well as an overall score. The overall score will determine language supports your child will receive. The overall level will be a 1, 2, 3, or 4, with 4 being the highest number. And that means that the student has a good understanding of English. Your child will receive level scores for oral language and written language. These level scores will be beginning, somewhat or moderately, or well developed in English. Wow, I have shared a lot of information with you. Go ahead and take a moment and think, what questions do you have so far? Feel free to type those in our chat and we will be happy to answer them. We will have more time throughout the next half hour or hour to answer more questions if they come to you later. Go ahead and add some questions that you might have and we'll answer those now. Thank you, Mr. Soto, Ediberto, for adding links to Lpac. We will share that some more information later as well. What questions can we answer for you? All right. Ms. Ureli, do you see any more questions in chat?
I do not see any at the moment, but I will keep an eye out.
All right. Wow, well, I did a lot of talking from when we started. So now we're going to talk about the fun stuff. How can families help their children at home? How can you help your child? So one of the things I think is very helpful as a parent is to know a little bit more about what my children need to do or what they do in school. So let's talk a little bit, dig deeply a little bit into this practice Lpac task. There are tasks in 4 areas of language in the Lpac: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We will share how to see all of these practice tests later. For right now, let's look really closely at one example. It is called Read a Literary Passage. That's kind of what that means is students are going to be reading a story of some type. All children, kindergarten through 12th grade, will have this type of task. Kindergartners will have a short story read to them with pictures, for example. The child will follow along as the tester reads. In 1st through 12th grades, children will read the story on their own. Some of the stories have pictures to help. Once the child has read the story, the tester asks questions and the child selects the answer. In some cases, the test questions are read to the student, and some cases the students read those test questions. Some pictures are provided as well.
Okay, so how can families help their children at home? A fun way to help your child is through retelling. What is retelling and how does it help your child build those comprehension skills? Retelling is a strategy that helps determine what the child comprehends or understands about the story. Through retelling, children identify characters, sequence or put in order the main events by drawing attention to important parts of the story. This can help in building their understanding of the story and help with making predictions on what might happen next in the story. How can you retell events and stories with your children? You may go ahead and type it in the chat or share out to the group. I'll repeat the question one more time. How can you retell events and stories with your children? And I'll give you a moment to respond to that. So remembering retelling is telling the events in sequence, the main parts. Okay. And if you don't have any ideas at this moment, it's okay. We're going to come back to this towards the end, and then we can talk about that too. Now, remembering that retelling can be fun for our children, the first activity I want to show you is retelling a story with a book. I will be using an online storybook titled Joe Scores a Goal. This can be found on Unite for Literacy. The story is linked on the picture. Before you begin reading the story, you need to make sure to tell your child what the story is about. For example, I might tell my daughter, Joe scores a goal about a group. The story Joe Scores a Goal is about a group of kids who play soccer together and show teamwork by including everyone regardless of their abilities. Then you would read the story with your child. I'm going to demonstrate how this will go. And let me go ahead and get started with reading the story. Just give it a moment to show up. There we go. So if I was reading this story to my daughter, I would tell her, hey, the story is Joe Scores a Goal. And oops, it went a little too fast. I'm going to begin reading. So next page, please, sorry. My friends and I love to play soccer at recess. The first thing we do is pick teammates. Joe uses a wheelchair because he can't walk or run. That's okay with us because no matter what, we have fun. We all work together to find ways to play soccer with Joe, making up rules that are fair for everyone. Joe can't kick the ball like the rest of us, but he has other really great moves. Each of us has different strengths we bring to the team. That's what makes us great. When Joe gets the ball under his chair, he goes really fast to the goal. Notice how the kids are right behind him. Score! It feels good to support each other and celebrate when we win. Joe is a great teammate. We have a lot of fun playing soccer. I can't wait for tomorrow's game. And once we're done reading the story, I'll give it a moment to catch up with what I was saying. So once you're done reading the story, you will have your child draw on a piece of paper what happened first, next, then, and last in the story. Your child will fold a piece of paper into 4 squares. It's sometimes helpful to write out the sequence words, first, next, then, and last, to really help build those connections for your child. Before we move to the last step, I would love to try this out with you all. You may use a piece of paper, pen, or pencil if you have it close by. Ms. Bev, will you go to the next slide? Do not worry if you don't have this close by or if you're on your phone, that's okay. You can just follow along. I want to demonstrate how you would do this. So let's say you just grab a piece of paper, and I'll have Ms. Bev stop sharing just for the moment because I'm going to be sharing my screen in a bit. Okay, so you would grab a piece of paper and you would fold it in half twice, and it would give you 4 different squares. Now, if I draw on this one right now, it might be too little for you to see, which is okay. And that's why I will share my screen demonstrating what I would have done on this piece of paper. Let me go ahead and do that. Give me a second. Okay. So now we are on the part where we're going to be drawing as if I was the child, the first, next, then, and last. Now I'm going to remember that story I just read. So let me pretend I'm a child. So if I am thinking about what happened first, well, I remember first the kids were choosing some teammates and they were all choosing who would be on what team. Oh, and also I had to draw Joe because he was very important. So let me go ahead and draw it out. So there's my goal. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a small little picture. The kids are choosing who will be on their team. And I can't forget about Joe. Let me see if I can draw his wheelchair. So first, the kids are choosing who's on what team. Next, I remember the kids were talking about creating rules so everyone could play together. So they're all kind of in a circle talking to each other. Then I remember they were playing and Joe got the ball. So I need to make sure I have Joe on here with the ball. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So he has the soccer ball and there's kids running after him, trying to catch up. And last, Joe scored a goal. There's the ball and the goal. Now, once my child is done drawing the pictures, we would move on to the next step. Miss Bev, do you want to go ahead and start sharing again?
Can you see the book now?
I can see the presentation.
Perfect. Okay. Would you like this a presentation? Is that good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so I just demonstrated what your child might have drawn. The picture on your screen is just a screenshot of the pictures from the story. Your child will have their own drawings. But after they're done drawing, the most important part is having your child retell the story to a family member. It can be someone different than the person that read the story to them. They will tell that family member what happened first, next, then, and last in the story by using the pictures they drew. Over time, you might see your child adding sentences and labels. This will help your child's language grow. You can also ask questions to help your child make predictions such as, Joe scored. What do you think will happen next? Okay, so retelling can also be done with videos, cartoons, and movies. I have a question for you. What shows do your kids watch? I want you to go ahead and share it in the chat. I know my daughter, she loves watching Spirit or watching Peppa the Pig. Any cartoon or show they might watch? Okay, I know that there's different shows kids watch, such as, Power Rangers was one that I used to watch as a kid too. I know that some kids watch shows that their parents might see, such as, I know I used to watch my parents see El Chavo del Ocho, or there was Rugrats or Tom and Jerry. So, I like that, Daniel the Tiger. Now, thinking about retelling and really thinking about how we can use those cartoons to also help develop this skill. Now, similar to reading a book, a video can help us with this. First, you might tell your child what the video clip is about. So I might say, we're going to watch a minute of Tom and Jerry. Tom is the cat and Jerry's the mouse. Then we would watch the video together. So why don't we take a moment and watch this 1 minute video? And it's okay that we can't hear the sound since we know Tom and Jerry just has little sound effects that are not talking. Okay, and I did see someone in the comments say that your child likes watching Tom and Jerry. I know it's one of my favorites as a kid, and my kids like it too. But remembering the steps. So you told your child what the video clip is about. You watched the video clip. The third step would be to have your child draw what happened first, next, then, and last in the video clip. Same as we did with the story, just grab that piece of paper and just have them draw it. Then after that, they would use their pictures to tell a family member what happened first, next, then, and last. And like I said, with time, there might be sentences, labels, or you could ask them what might happen next.
So let's think back to what we talked about earlier regarding the LPAC task. When Ureli showed us how to retell, did we think about what happened in the story? Did we need to know the main idea? What was the story about? Did we need to know details that supported the story? Did we put the story in order or sequence it? And did we predict what might happen next? Yes, we did all of those with Ureli's demonstration. Those are important skills towards comprehension that are measured by the LPAC. What else can families, or how else can you help at home? And how else might you retell? Well, you could retell family activities. You could retell family stories of when you were growing up or when you lived and when you were a young child, when you were living with your family. You could retell you could have your child retell their day, or you could retell your day, talking about what happened first, what happened next, what happened after that, and what happened at the end. All of these are great ways to get children to think about the stories, whether it's a story that you're telling, whether it's a book, or whether it's a movie, right? So any way that you can get stories telling in your family would be helpful.
Okay, so I said we would come back to this question. So what else can you retell? Or in other words, what other activities do you do with your children that help their learning? We would love to hear it in the chat, or you may go ahead and come off mute and share with the group. Watching movies is a great one. You can retell what happens in the beginning of the story. then maybe give the next, and then in the middle of the movie, and then you tell them what happened at the end. That's usually how you tell your friends if it's a good movie or not.
Well, I'm a grandma, and when my grandson is a little bit older, I want him to tell me what he's doing in preschool or at home. So I'll be sure to ask him to tell me or retell me what he's doing during the day. What other ideas do you have?
Bev, that just made me think about, I always ask my daughter after distance learning, what did you learn today? Tell me what happened. And she tells me, first, we started doing this, then we did something else. Oh, and next, this happened. And then last, well, we had a ton of homework. Usually she goes through that and tells me what happens during her day. Would anyone else like to share?
And even if it's not about retelling, what other things do you do with your kiddos, your children at home that really help them learn? We know you have so many great things happening.
Oh, I love that one. Milagro said that she's in English classes and her child will talk English to her so she can practice and learn more. So they're both practicing English.
Love it.
Thank you for sharing, Milagro.
And Edberto shared wideopenschool.org as another great way to extend storytelling. Thank you.
Another item they mentioned was they go play at the park, and at the park, they tell each other what has happened all week. So their retelling is for the whole week. Thank you, Karen Reyes, for sharing.
Yes, retelling can be a small moment in time, or it can be a bigger piece of time. It can be a full story, or it can be just a part of a story too. Oh, sorry. And do we have any other ideas or activities that you do with your student or your child, sorry, or something your teacher has done that you would like to share with the rest of us, your child's teachers? And feel free to ask each other too. Doesn't have to be us.
Definitely. Oh, that's a really fun one. I just read Yuridiana mentioned that they play a game with letters. She will tell her children, tell me words that start with, and then she only says one letter.
Something about playing games with your children. Now that my children are older and my parents have both passed away, the comment about playing games with letters really makes me think of my dad and how important storytelling is to help the family just feel really together and connected. I love it. Well, we have some other activities, resources for you. So I'd be happy to share those to give you a few more ideas. Mr. Relly, do you want me to go to that next step, or is there something on another chat?
I think we are ready.
So what else can we offer to you in support of your children? One of the best language programs that we have in Twin Rivers is something called Imagine Learning. And every one of our English learners and all of our transitional kindergarten students have access to Imagine Learning. And I will share with you in a little bit how to make sure that your child can log on. Imagine Learning is a digital curriculum or program, if you will, that teaches students as they acquire and strengthen and develop their language skills. It teaches students through books and songs and rhyming games, videos, so many things. Students learn at their own pace based on assessments that they are constantly taking, but they don't know they're taking these tests or assessments because it's part of the game and the program, so it's fun. Because the program matches what the students are able to do and showing that they can do, it allows the students to learn and practice skills that they need right now. Skills range from letters and sounds to vocabulary, spelling, and reading comprehension. Students stay engaged as they learn because they're earning virtual tokens that allow them to play games for short periods of time. You can support your child with Imagine Learning by asking questions about the stories and the games. Maybe you can ask them to retell one of the stories they heard or read in Imagine Learning. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see some pictures of different kinds of activities. For example, there's stories, there's word work, and there's lots of different games, as you can see. Now, these links on the screen provide information about how to log on to Imagine Learning. Currently, these directions are in English, Russian, Hmong, and Spanish. I am going to request a Dari translation, and I will post that or provide that to Heriberto so he can let you know what that is. We do not currently have Dari translation for this particular document. So I encourage you to ask your child's teacher about Imagine Learning and also ask your student about it.
Reading to your child is very important. I'm going to talk about two different digital storybooks websites. The first one is Global Storybooks. It's a free multilingual literacy resource for children and youth worldwide. It offers a variety of stories in different languages. Another great site is Global Storybooks. That's the one I used today to access the book, Joe Scores a Goal.
Unite for Literacy?
Yes, Unite for Literacy. Sorry, I must have said it twice. Thank you, Bev. So yes, Unite for Literacy is the one I used today for Joe Scores a Goal. This site has many different books as well, but they're grouped by themes, such as animals, community, family, friends, and many others. These are also offered in different languages. Both of these sites are linked on the pictures in the presentation.
Other ways that you can help your child at home are by viewing additional Lpac practice tasks. For example, if you would like to see what the tasks look like in listening or in speaking or in writing or other tasks in reading, you can click on this white box and it will take you to an area or of the California State Education Department of Education, and you'll see some information about how to look at those tasks. Additionally, these videos in the box on the right, you click on this link and it will show you, and I'll show you that in just a second since we have time. But once I click on these, you will see many, many different videos from teachers demonstrating, showing you how to help your child with learning language and literacy. This is an example similar to what Ureli did with the retelling of a story and retelling of a video clip. So if I click on this link, this comes to us from the Teachers College at Columbia University. And these teachers who made these videos, they're made in YouTube. And what is helpful is that you can play the video in YouTube, select closed captioning or the CC, and then you can have the video read to you in the language of your choice. For example, I'll just show you how this works. I won't go into, we won't listen to all of the video.
So as Bev opens it, she's going to click on closed caption so you can see. Then she'll go to settings and go into the subtitles. Go to auto translate and choose a language. Then it will automatically give you the captions in that language.
And it's down at the bottom. So those are examples of additional things that you can do with your child if you would like to know more about the Lpac practice tasks, or if you would like to know more ways to help your child at home, these videos are available for you.
And before we end today, we want to make sure to answer any questions you may have. You may go ahead and ask them right now or type them in the chat, and we will try our best to answer all of them. I did want to say thank you to all of those who were sharing those different ideas in the chat, just like the shows that your kids watch, activities you guys do. We really appreciate that.
And all of the sharing, the links that Heriberto put in chat are very helpful. And if you have children in 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, we invite you to join us again next Wednesday. And if you have children in 7th through 12th grade, join us on the following Wednesday on February 10th. And we'll be talking about more of middle school and high school. Thank you, Heriberto. The link for that registration for next Wednesday on February 3rd is in chat.